May 4th, Saturday morning, out here on Elden, doing another training run / camera test. Hopefully the settings will be better than my last video. Plan for today is to climb Mount Elden, which you can kind of see the lookout tower up there. That's where we'll be going. And then we're gonna hop on the Sunset Trail and go down the Heart Trail. But before we do that, we're also gonna tag the summit of Little Elden, which is another peak back that way. So we've got about a 2,500 foot climb here. I'm gonna be power hiking pretty much all of it. And it's gonna be a slog, because it always is. So for the upcoming Cocodona race, unfortunately they had to get rerouted this year, so the 125 and 38 runners are gonna head down Pipeline, or on the base of Elden. But the 250 runners and me today are going up, 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 all the way to the top. We are approaching the junction to the Lookout Trail. This Fat Man's Loop keeps going along this way. This is a really popular 2.5 mile loop that me and a lot of other local runners like to do, but we are going to turn left, and now is where it starts to get really steep as we make our way to the Elden summit. So far we're about a mile in, about 600 feet climbed, and we've got about another 2,000 feet to go. So we hit the top, and it's gonna get steep. Here we go. So just some local intel here. Once you hit this tree with this root and a huge step up, you'll pretty much know it when you see it, but this is pretty much exactly 1 mile from the top. So for anyone doing Cocodona here in a week, might be some useful information to keep in mind. We're getting there. Okay, just hit 2 miles on this climb from the trailhead, so that's actually a mile from the junction of Fat Man's Loop and the Summit Trail. So in that mile, I'm at about 1,600 feet right now, so pretty much 1,000 foot climb for that first mile where the junction is. We still have about 7/10 of a mile to go to get to the summit. We have about 4/10 to get to the saddle, and then about 3/10 to get to the summit. And we still have another 800 feet or so of climbing, so it's definitely still going to be steep, but our views just keep getting better and better as we go up. And once we're at the top, I'll kind of do a 360 shot and point out some of the landmarks here. It's pretty awesome how far you can see on the top of Elden. But anyway, I'm gonna keep hammering away. All right, we are approaching the saddle right here. My mileage was a little off. I'm at 2.56 overall, so about a little over 1.5 miles from the junction trail. So I think it's another 1/4 mile or so to get to the summit. Now in 2021 and 2022 for Cocodona, we took Sunset Trail to get to the Elden aid station. But last year this trail still had too much snowpack on it for race day, so they rerouted it to go to the actual summit of Elden, which I thought was a great change. To me, it kind of felt anticlimactic to come all this way, especially after 245 miles and not summit Elden. So the sunset's beautiful, but it's more epic just to tag the top. And I think they're keeping that change for this year, which I think is great. Just feels like a more fitting end to actually summit Elden. So we got a little bit more to the top, and then we'll finally be done with pretty much all of our climbing for this run. There's our view. Beautiful. Okay, we are pretty much at the top. You can see the towers right there. We've encountered our first snowpack, and that's pretty much it. So that would probably, well, there might still be a little bit of it left for Cocodona next week, but I would imagine most of it should be melted. But we do have a little snowpack here we're climbing. But it's pretty solid. And that's it. It's all the snow. It's great. And we have made it to the top. Well, the actual top is up there in a little bit, but for all intents and purposes, we're at the top. So over here, it's a pretty good overlook. I made it up in an hour and 13, which is nothing to brag about. It's about 20 minutes slower than my fastest, but that was also a pre-baby when everything was just easier. But the fastest guys can do it in like under 40, so I pretty much have no room to brag anyway. But there's a lookout tower. Beautiful. We have Kendrick Mountain back there. And over here, actually, I'm sorry, I believe that's Kendrick. That might be Bill Williams Mountain. We have the San Francisco Peaks, Mount Humphreys, tallest peak in Arizona, 12,633 feet. You can see they're still quite snow-capped. They'll probably stay snow-capped until, I don't know. I mean, I was up there last year in July and there was still snow up there, so you just never know. But here we have a great shot of East Flagstaff. So you can see we're gonna follow this ridge. Little Elden's over somewhere that way, and then we'll go down Hart Trail and wind our way around. But we have O'Leary's Peak straight ahead, and then Sunset Crater just to the right of that. Painted Desert is behind there, where it kind of gets all yellow. That's where like Winslow and Holbrook and those towns are. And Petrified Forest National Park is back that way. It's beautiful. You can make out some cliffs over there. The Grand Canyon's kind of behind Humphreys, but those are kind of the Vermilion Cliffs that lead to it. You can see this little area where the houses are. That's Doney Park. It's a great little community here in Flagstaff. Beautiful views, but they get a ton of wind during the spring and during the fall, so it's kind of the trade-off. But that right there, that's called Old Caves Crater, and there's some cool caves at the top there you can explore. These two little hills, the one on the right, that's Turkey Hill. It's a nice trail to lead to the top of that, and that's the 40 coming along there. So for Cocodona, you can kind of see where you go. These trees are kind of in the way, but Walnut Canyon, you can make it out. Just a little divot in the woods going that way. That lake there, that's Country Club beyond the trees, and then Campbell Mesa is behind there. So Cocodona, you kind of follow Walnut Canyon, you come out through Campbell Mesa, then you cross under the 40 right around there. I'm sorry, you go over the 40, and kind of where Turkey Hill is, you can actually see the bridge you cross. That's super cool. You just make your way through here, and then this road is Route 66. You cross under there at some point, and then you kind of approach Eldon and come up where we are. So it's kind of neat. You can kind of follow the path of the last, 30 miles of the race or so from Walnut Canyon. We'll make it to the actual top. Doesn't seem like there's anybody else up here, which is great. Elden Mountain Lookout, 9,299 feet. Why they couldn't just call it 9,300, don't know. It's beautiful up here. So from this vantage point, you can kind of make out those little lakes / ponds of a country club, Campbell Mesa. The airport is back that way. You can see it, that little patch cut through there. And behind the airport, you can see Oak Creek Canyon as it makes its way down into Sedona. The rocks back that way. So, just beautiful up here. You have to work to get here, but it's a good spot to hang out. And if you're doing Cocodona next week, I would recommend taking the view in for a minute before you make your way down the mountain. So I'm gonna have a snack, and then I'll start making my way over to Sunset Trail. Okay, we're making our way down Elden Lookout Road now. And you can really see the cliffs of Sedona popping back there. It's so beautiful. Off to my right, where all those towers are, we call that Devil's Head. And if you take the Blue Dot Trail, it pops out at Devil's Head. And then you can take Elden Lookout Road over here to get to the top of Eldon. It's something that people might not know that aren't local, that are just doing the race. They might think that Summit Trail is the only way to get to the top of Eldon. There's actually like 7 or 8 ways that I know of to get up here. Blue Dot being one of them. Slabs being another one. The Slabs route will pop out somewhere along here actually. And then you kind of just make your way up. And there's a couple other ways too. I'm sure you can find as long as you're willing to explore a little bit. So we're almost at 3 miles. You can see the San Francisco peaks ahead. Such a beautiful view. This was all snow-packed when I was up here like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it's all melted now, which is great. So for the race, for those that are doing it, you shouldn't have any snow. We had quite a bit of snow last year, pretty much from the saddle to the summit. You were going through snow, and it kind of made it epic because you start like in the Sonoran Desert, like 95 degrees, saguaro cactus, and then you finish 9,000 feet in the snow before you make your way down to Flagstaff. It's a pretty cool way to experience just different climates, but looks like this year it's all melted. I'll just point out a couple other things. That dome, that's where NAU is, and Lowell Observatory, actually you probably can't see it anymore, it's back that way. You can see it, I just didn't point it out. This is kind of the west side of town. Route 66 as it goes into Milton. That's where all the all the traffic is. So I avoid the west side of town like the plague unless I have to go over there. East side's where it's at. Anyway, for the race, there's a little bit of a climb on this road. I mean, I'm talking like maybe 50 feet. But other than that, it's a legit downhill. It's not like one of the segments where it's like downhill, but it's like rolling. No, you can cruise down this road until you hit Oldham Trail and you get back on single track, and even that's pretty much all downhill too. But you can fly down Elden Lookout Road. I mean, freaking Jim Walmsley ran a 13-minute 5K going down this road, which is crazy. There's a snowbank, but easily passable, plenty of room. Straight ahead, that's the little climb I'm talking about. But once you're at the top of that, it's a legit runnable, smooth downhill for the next 4 miles or so till you hit Oldham. Such a great way to finish a race. I'm kind of sad I'm not doing it, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun following all the coverage this year, as well as volunteering. I'll be out there a few different days, had a few different spots during the race. It's pretty nice today, but it's usually super windy up here, and it's also usually about 10 to 15 degrees colder at the summit than it is in Flagstaff. So just keep that in mind if you're doing the race, especially if you're coming up here at night. Prepare for it to be cold and windy. We're gonna scoot across here. I think, did I pass it? There is a little trail here to connect Elden Lookout Road to Sunset Trail. Here it is. There we go. And now we're on Sunset. We're gonna take this to a Little Elden summit. So I'll check in then. We're making our way down Sunset Trail. There's still a little bit of snowpack here. We're just kind of running in and out of them. See, there's some footprints and some bike tires in the snow, but overall, not a lot of people up here, which is great. And that might be it for now. Looks like we're in the clear as far as snow goes for a little bit, so we're gonna try to move efficiently. Okay, we've reached the junction for the Heart Trail. That's what we're taking down. But to get to Little Elden, we actually have to go past this a little bit, and there should be a junction on our right here coming up. There's a lot of downed trees here. I'm hoping that this trail is even accessible, because it looks like I already passed it up. Is it here? I mean, it looks like that's literally the trail. Well, shoot. I also have to be home in 2 hours. And I think a bushwhacking adventure might not be in the cards. Just want to confirm that this is actually the trail. Because according to my Gaia, this is it. I'm guessing it just scrambles up those rocks and stuff. Pause my watch. Well, might have to cut out Little Elden for today. Huh. According to my phone, it's about 0.8 miles. And yeah, this is definitely it. Not much of a trail. Well, maybe it'll get better. Probably won't, but maybe it'll get better. The views behind me are cool. See the towers where we just were. All right, anyway, on we go. Okay, I just talked to my wife for a little bit, and it turns out I might not have to be home in 2 hours after all, so we're gonna keep going here. So pretty sure we're just following this ridge up till there to get to the Little Elden summit, but it's just not like a trail. Like on my map on Gaia, it shows it being a single track trail, but it's definitely not. Like, it doesn't even look like it was a trail at any point. So it's gonna be slow going, but I would like to try to tag that summit, because why not? Oh man, the views are gorgeous out along here. I just wish that wasn't so bushwhacky, but we're getting there. Okay, we're making our way along here. The terrain actually got slightly more navigable. For a little while it was just up and down a bunch of rocks and trees and through bushes, but there's at least somewhat of a path now. But I'm literally just tracing the line on my phone, and you can see kind of what we're going through. There's just really not a trail here. So if you like more off-trail kind of thing, actually I might prefer this, because there's no one back here, I can tell you that. And Elden's usually pretty crowded. But I'll kind of zoom out here. Should be almost there. We started there at that junction. Hopefully you can see that, where the dot is. So we've made it up this far, and a little bit more to go, and hopefully we won't get lost. So we've reached the end of the trail, according to my phone, but this is where we're at. Not much of a payoff here. So I'm gonna just kind of go beyond a little bit to where this opens up, and hopefully there's somewhat of a view. It'd be pretty disappointing to bushwhack all this way, not have anything at the end. But I mean, looking at the topos, it just kind of looks like we're on top of a little mesa here, for lack of a better word. A little flat-ish area. But I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything back here. You know, I was expecting like a logbook, something to sign. And I was definitely expecting some sort of a view. Maybe it'll be beyond these rocks. So that took about a half an hour to get here from the Heart Trail junction. About a mile, but pretty much all off trail. Still not much to look at. But I'm gonna explore here for a little bit and hopefully we'll find a view somewhere. We'll see. Okay, I found a little rock outcropping here. So that's pretty. Got the view of the peaks. Looking out towards Cameron that way. You kind of see O'Leary mountain right there. But kind of disappointing, to be honest. That was a lot of work to get here, and it's a pretty view, but no different than the views you get along Elden Lookout. But I mean, now I can say that I've tagged the Little Elden Summit. I've been looking at that for a while on my map, just wondering what's up here. And now I know, not much. There's also a lot of bugs. I've been kind of getting destroyed for the last quarter mile or so. There might be something that way that might be pretty, that I might check out, but I'm gonna sit down here and I'm gonna have another little snack. It is pretty, but I would say not worth the effort, you know, unless you just want to check it off of a list. So I just kind of walked to the other side of this little flat-ish area that we're on. And here's the view from the other side. So you can see where the towers are. That's Mount Elden, where we came from. And we just follow it along here to get to where we are. But I mean, not a super great view, kind of disappointing. The view from over there where you could see the peaks was definitely pretty. That's definitely the best spot up here in my opinion. And it kind of looks like the ridge line actually follows a little bit more out that way. And I kind of thought that that's where we'd end up, and then you'd be able to see like huge panoramic views of all of Flagstaff and north of Flagstaff. But not the case. But it's okay. I am going to turn around here to show you where we are in the map. So that's where the trail ends at Little Elden Mountain. And I think this spot would be cool to get to. Just kind of over there, like where that ridge is. But I really don't want to bushwhack through all these trees to get over there, because I'm sure there's just nothing as far as a trail goes. And I'm gonna start making my way back. Did this thing turn off? Okay, hopefully that video took. That was kind of weird. The display and everything went away, but I guess it's fine. But anyway, just wanted to show you the view from this side. Again, not much. Too many trees blocking the way. And even to get over here, you're just kind of making your way through bushes and trees and shrubbery. But again, I think that way, if you could get to the end of that, you'd get some pretty awesome views up there. But I'll save that for someone else, because I want to get going. I want to actually run down some trail, but we won't be doing any running until we get back to Heart. So, more bushwhacking. Okay, I couldn't help myself. So I actually bushwhacked over here to this other part. And I would say this is kind of more what I was expecting as far as your panoramic views go. But, I mean, you're still blocked off by all these trees here from getting a true panoramic view. But it is pretty, and I'm glad I went over here. Just kind of scratch that itch while I'm up here. So I don't think there's pretty much anything to see back this way, and I'm very much off trail. So I am gonna head back soon, but I wanted to show you, it's kind of cool. You can actually see the Heart Trail that we're gonna take down the mountain, switchbacking through the hill there. You can follow it for a good bit. So we're gonna head back this way, take the Heart Trail down, and then connect at the parking lot. Okay, I'm back on trail. I use that term very loosely, but just as far as my Gaia goes. So I was kind of all the way out here, just kind of exploring, but now we're back on what Gaia says is an actual trail. It's still really not a trail. But to get back to the Heart Trail, I'm pretty much gonna be having my phone out the whole time and just kind of tracing the line back. And hopefully we can make up some good time until we can actually start running. But that was kind of a fun little scramble. I don't think I'd do it again, but I'm glad I did it. And now we just gotta find our way back through this mess. Okay, we are slowly getting there. My last 2 miles have both been like 29 and 35 minutes. But there's the ridge that we traversed. So we went all the way to the end of that. And you can just kind of see what we're making our way through. Still just following the line on my phone. Just trying to pick the path of least resistance, basically. I'm not really much of a off-trail scrambly guy, but maybe I'll credit this little adventure. I think I've been watching too many of Kodiak Studios' videos. Shout him out if you guys haven't checked his channel out. It's super cool. He lives down in Sedona and he does a lot of peak bagging, and he has a lot of really cool off-trail routes, and he does a great job of filming his adventures. So I think I'm gonna say he inspired me today to do all that. But very much looking forward to being back on single track. Hopefully soon. Oh, we've made it. We are back on actual trail. Oh, thank you, Lord. My arms and legs are a little scratched up. Not too bad. But, oh, I'm glad to be done with that terrain. Like I said, every time I've been back here on these trails, I always look up at Little Elden, and I'm always wondering what's back there. And according to Gaia, there's a trail to get back there, but as you saw, not really much of a trail. Some pretty views, but overall, not worth it. Glad I can say that I did it. Check it off the list, but I'll stick with the actual trails from here on out. Making our way down Hart. There's Little Elden, and you can see behind me, not bad as far as views go. I love coming down this trail. You just get amazing views. The backside of Elden, and then the whole East Flagstaff Valley off to my right. It's pretty awesome here. Just gonna let it roll for a little bit. I don't even know if you can see Elden behind me. I might have just been showing you nothing. But we'll see as we make this turn. There's Elden. Ooh. Infamous Mount Elden. All the way up there. Beautiful. You can really see Elden now, and you can also see how our trail just winds around down the side of the mountain. Very beautiful. This trail, Hart Trail, it's about a 4-mile descent off of Elden. And there's several ways that you can connect it. But it's an awesome trail. I haven't done this trail a whole lot, but I feel like I should do it more. But either way, today is a perfect day for it. Okay, we've made it down from Little Elden, down the Hart Trail. Now we're on the AZT, Little Elden section of the Arizona Trail. So I think we should have, I don't know, 2.5 miles to go, maybe 3. Pretty soon, we're gonna actually run into the Sedona Canyons 125 course, and then we'll follow that. We'll take Christmas Tree over to Fat Man, which will take us back to the parking lot at the bottom of Elden. So, getting there. Okay, so we are now on, whoop, don't fall. We're now on Sedona Canyons, the Sedona Canyons route. There's a junction right there. I was gonna show on camera, I actually missed it. But I'm sure it'll be marked good on race day. But it looks like after you guys hit the Sandy Seep aid station right there, you come out and you kind of do like a counterclockwise loop, and then you hit up with the Arizona Trail right there where I'm on. And you'll follow this till you hit Christmas Tree. And you'll follow Christmas Tree until you hit Fat Man. But yeah, Sonoma Canyons, this is what you have to look forward to. Got some nice views of Eldon behind me, and you actually have a really nice view of Little Elden back there where we just were. I think we were up there. I don't think we were over there. We might have been over there. It's hard to tell. I think it was there. But anyway, got some smooth single track here if you got the legs for it. And yeah, I'm gonna put the camera away and pound out these last couple of miles. Okay, we are approaching our next junction. So, Sandy Seep, it's about a mile and a half, I wanna say, 1.6 down that way. We're hopping on Christmas Tree, about a mile and a half to the Fat Man's Loop Junction. From there, it's about a little over half mile till we're done. So we'll be at almost 15. I'm at 12.72 right now, so not a bad day. Time to finish it. Right, our last intersection. Fat Man's Loop, back on it. Have about half mile to go, maybe a little bit more, and finally be done. All right, back at the parking lot. We are done. So 14.87 miles, almost 3,400 feet of climbing. Early. 4 hours, 52 minutes. Now, probably 2 hours of that were those 2.5 mile scramble bushwhack to get to Little Elden. So that slowed it down considerably, but I think that was worth it. That was cool. So